Well, hello friends. It's good to see you. Welcome to the Albanach Knitter. My name is Andrew. I am the Albanach Knitter, and I'm coming to you from the west coast of Scotland, just off the west coast of Scotland, on the beautiful Isle of Arran, where I live with my family. Welcome to you if you are new to the channel, and a warm welcome back to those of you who are returning. It's good to see you. Now, you might have noticed that this episode started a little bit differently from my main episodes, because this one isn't a main episode. This is my periodical little opportunity to come along and have a little bit of a chatty catch up with you, to update you on the knitting. And I often do these extra stitches, I call them, in between my main episodes. The main episodes take a little bit more time to record and put together because they often include segments from out and about on the island. But this is just a little bit of an opportunity for us to catch up, do some knitting, to update you as to what's been happening in life, and particularly on the knitting front. So it's good to welcome you. It's good to spend this time knitting with you, and I'm glad to be finding this time to sit down and have a little bit of a knit. Everyone in the house has gone out, apart from Dougal. He's in the kitchen, but we won't say his name too loud because it is actually close to dinner time for him. So if you do hear any Dougal related noise, who's my Labrador by the way, it's because it's getting close to dinner, and he will at some point remind me that he wants to be fed. But I'm sitting here and I am knitting on my Martin Story sweater that you've seen me doing before, probably, if you've seen the channel before. But thankfully I have now finished the back piece in its entirety, and I have cast on, this is now the front piece. Sweaters have backs, sweaters have fronts, and they have arms as well. And so we're on good track. Life is still busy, you know. I'm still doing the whole pastor of the church, the Baptist church here on the island. I'm still involved at Sannox. I'm still involved with the brass band and the choir. I'm still writing my papers and seminars and final projects relating to my doctoral work. So there's plenty going on, but I always say that if I don't have time to sit down and do some knitting, I am too busy. I am too busy. So here I sit, here I knit, and of course I've got the joy of being able to chat along to you while I do that. Now, as I say, there are quite a few knitting updates for this. You're going to be very impressed, I can tell that already. There's going to be a few knitting updates, and there have been some acquisitions, I have to confess. Not that I need any more wool, but there's reasons for purchasing said wool, which I will tell you about very directly. Now, as I say, I'm knitting now on the front piece of this sweater by Martin Story. I'll put the title of this down below here, so you can go and find it for yourself. It is a free pattern, but I have a certain confidence in it. Martin Story is a very good pattern writer, so usually I'm a bit more uncertain about doing free patterns, but I think this is a good one, and I haven't seen any corrections to the pattern, so I think we're all good. And so I'm knitting this in Highland Cascade 220. It is a superwash yarn, mainly it's 100% Peruvian wool, but it is superwash. So that's what I'm making it with, and it's in this lovely maroon colour. I don't know how well the screen will pick up the colour. I notice it's getting a little bit dark in here, sorry about that, but the sun is moving around. It's almost at the stage where we're after the solstice, or whatever you call it, and we're getting a little bit darker. But I have finished the other piece of this that I was working on, and I'll hold it up, and all of a sudden you've got a big screen full of burgundy knitted stuff. I always get concerned when I'm knitting for myself, because believe it or not, I used to be a much bigger chap. I'm not the tiniest chap in the world, but I used to be much bigger. As in, I used to be I used to be 7 stone heavy. I don't know that in kilograms. Sorry, I don't do kilograms. But I used to be 7 stone heavier. There's 40. I don't know. You know how many? There's 14 is there 14 pounds in a stone? So you can do the math for yourself. Anyway, I'm smaller than I was. But even about 6 months ago when I cast this on, I was a little bit larger than what I am now because I've been losing weight and exercising and all that sort of thing. Anyway, I just have a little bit of a concern this is going to be too big. However, when I hold it up to myself, now this is the back, you have to remember. There's a bit here for the neck, so you can imagine that it's a what do you call those necks that are round? Can't remember, but you know. And then there's the wee shoulders here. This is the back, of course, and then there's a little detail along where you add the sleeves a little bit later on. So it is the right length on me. You can't see that, but you know it looks very good, and it's definitely the right width. There's enough to go around my delicate frame here, so I think it's okay. I'm just a bit conscious that sometimes I make things too big. So that's all done. That's all cast on. As I say, it starts off with on a small needle, the garter stitch, the garter band just at the bottom there, and then this little rib before you then change up a size, and then it's just stockinette stitch for days. So the back is done. The back is well and truly done, and I've now started on the front. And of course, sweaters typically have sleeves, so there's 2 sleeves to do as well. So I'm making good progress on that, and I do have a little 4-night holiday coming up when our school holidays kick in October, and these projects that I'm working on will definitely be coming with me so that I can make some advance on the old knitting, because as I say, if I don't have time to knit, I'm far too busy. And knitting is good for the old, you know, the mental health and de-stressing. I have to say, I've been walking and running and things on the treadmill, and I've been swimming and things, and that's been great as well. I'm not one that enjoys too much physical effort, but I've actually been enjoying it. And after a little swim today, I went for a nice sauna and a little steam in the steam room, and you know, thoroughly enjoyed myself. So it's all going in the right direction, let's put it that way. So yes, I am merrily knitting away on the Martin Story fisherman's sweater, and making good progress on it. The good thing about this is it's very easy to pick up, stick in the bag and take to knitting group. It's only stockinette, so it's very easy to knit on whilst you're talking and chatting or listening to the talk in the chat, so it's very good for that, and it will do me well through the autumn, maybe even into the winter, I'm fairly sure, so I'm happy with that. Now, one of the other things I've been working on is you saw possibly nearly the finished item. When I was away for my 25th wedding anniversary, I started some socks, vanilla socks by Magic Loop by the Crazy Sock Lady, and I've now finished the first sock in this lovely pigment and ply yarn with these lovely colours. Very pleased with the Eye of Partridge heel. Look at that, isn't that pretty? Very pretty. It's finished nice. And then I not only since the last time I saw you cast on the second sock, but I have finished the second sock, and there it is, and with the Eye of Partridge heel, even prettier the second time round than the first time round. Now, what I have noticed, in spite of the fact that these were purchased at the same time, had the same dye name and all the rest of it, same design name, they are slightly different colours. I am not too worried about this, because at the end of the day, these are socks. They are going to be on my feet, they are going to be under my boots and my jeans. There's not 1,000 people going to be looking at my socks, and the colour difference is significant enough to notice, but not that much. You know, there are shared colours. It's just amazing how much there's just in this second sock that I've done. There are just more blues and greys than in that one. You can see that, can't you? But it's okay. I'm not worried. I just cast these on so that I had some knitting to take away on my holiday to do, and I'm still very, very pleased with them. And I have worn these, so you're actually looking at dirty socks. I'm very sorry about that. I hope it's a good job we don't have smelly vision, isn't it? But very pleased with these, and they will forever be my Tenerife socks because I knit them on Tenerife. Now, I was talking to my doctoral supervisor on one of these Zoom things that we regularly do to catch up with all things study, and I was telling him that I'd been to Tenerife for my 25th wedding anniversary holiday, and he had no idea where Tenerife was. Well, in case you don't know where Tenerife is a Spanish island, the Canary Islands. They are off the coast of North Africa. It's a 5-hour flight from here in Scotland. So, you know, it's quite far away, all things considered. But that's where it is, just in case you're wondering. And if you want to find out more about that holiday and you haven't watched my last episode yet, there's a little bit of Canarian culture on there and a few images from that trip. So go back and watch that main episode. But to say, this isn't a main episode, this is just my catch-up that I call my extra stitch. I might have said that already, but I can't remember. But I call these extra stitch because I say they're just an opportunity to sit down and catch up with you as to where I am. Now, I mentioned that I've done some acquisitions, but before I come on to them, you're going to be very impressed with this because I have been very industrious on the knitting front. Now, admittedly, it's only more socks, but actually, this is a finished sock. It's a smaller size. So instead of my usual 64, I cast on 56 to get the smaller size, and they're a little bit sort of shorties. They'll come just above the ankle, and I'm knitting these for somebody else for that thing that begins with C and ends in maths, which shall not be named for at least another few months yet. But I'm very pleased with these. It's knit in the signature yarn by West Yorkshire Spinners. It's what is it? It's 75% wool, 25% nylon, typical mixture for sock wool. And I'm very pleased with these, very pleased. I didn't do the eye of partridge this time. I just did a slip one, knit one, heel flap here. And look at the lovely gusset. Don't you love that word? Gusset. But there's the gusset, looking very nice. And these are very pleasing. These are very pleasing little socks. And not only have I done one, but I have done the vast majority of the second sock. As you can see, it's still on the needles, the doodads. So I've done the heel flap, done the gusset, and I'm well on with the toe. And I think this will be finished very soon. And these will be finished off, and I think they will go in someone's gift sack for the festivities coming up. I bought the blue West Yorkshire Spinners and this red West Yorkshire Spinners 4-ply signature a couple of years ago at least, and this is me just getting around to using it for no other reason than I just fancied doing some plain socks. I did play with the idea of doing a bi-colour effort on these, like doing a blue body and red for the heels and the toes, and I may still do that because I've got plenty of it left. I may still do that, but not for those. I just thought I'd keep it nice and simple for now, and I'm happy with that. Now, when I was finally getting to the stage where I could get into my office where my wool also lives, now that my daughter Katie has gone back to university, more on that later, I was rooting around and discovered a knit that I don't think that I've possibly ever shown you on the channel, and I'm very pleased with this. Now I must have knit this garment, this jumper, for my youngest daughter Lucy back in about 2018, 2019, before lockdown and all those shenanigans, before we moved up here to the Isle of Arran. Basically, she came home from school and decreed that she needed to have a Christmas jumper, and could I knit her one? And well, you know, always want to rise to the challenge, so of course I can, and so I knitted this little pattern. This was my very first top, now it's a little bit wrinkly, so apologies for that. This was one of my very first top-down yoke colourwork effort. I say it's wrinkly because it's been in a box, because it no longer fits her. These children grow. When you feed them, they grow. Be warned. But I was so pleased with this. Now, it's only knitted in a very, not very sophisticated acrylic yarn. That's what I had a lot of, and I say it was for a younger daughter, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go. It's what I had in, and so I thought that I would use this up, and I cannot tell you how pleased I was with this. As I say, it was my first neck down, yoke down sweater with this level of colour work all in one, adding on the arms and knitting down and doing a little bit at the end there. I was so chuffed with this. Now, I know that there are mistakes in that little zigzaggy thing. You could probably see them. Do you see how that some of the little V's there are a bit higgledy-piggledy and all that sort of thing? But, it was for her to wear at a few school parties a few years ago. So she wasn't bothered. I wasn't bothered. I did have to sort of do some sort of surgery with the neck because it was a little bit too tight. So I cut a little bit and did some engineering and managed to get it back. So it's quite a loose neck for her when she was wearing it. But boy, am I pleased with that. And I'll put the name of the pattern down the bottom here just in case you're interested. Again, it was a free pattern. And it was very pleasing, and I'm so pleased with the result. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that because I don't think you've seen it before. And yeah, it was really nice, really nice. Now, as I said earlier, Katie's now back at university, and I recently had to take her off the island back to Edinburgh, where she is studying at the university there. That was a whole palaver. Let me tell you about that. We set off, and during the week when we only had one main ferry, we normally have two main ferries running from the main town here, and there was only one, and you could not get a ticket for that ferry for love nor money. Love nor money. And so we had gone to the little North Ferry, which adds about 2 hours extra onto the journey to get to the main part of Scotland, as in Edinburgh. But it was our only option, and she had to be back at university for the courses starting back. So up we goes to the little ferry, and we sat there. The little ferry was off. There was something wrong with it, and we had to sit there for 2 hours so that they could decide whether there was going to be something they could do for this lovely little blessed ferry. Lovely ferry. The ferry's lovely. I don't really mean lovely, I mean really annoying ferry. So we sat there for 2 hours before they then announced that this ferry was going nowhere. So the only option then was to get into desperation mode and head back down to Brodick, which is our main ferry port, and just chance our arm. Bought a ticket, tried to get on, couldn't get booked on. I was literally sitting in the ferry with a ticket that didn't guarantee me a boat for at least 3 or 4 days. But there I sat in the standby queue hoping for the best. We didn't get on the first boat, we didn't get on the second boat, but we were able eventually to upgrade the ticket last minute to get on the boat from the afternoon. So from 9 o'clock in the morning till nearly 5 o'clock at night, we sat in the ferry queue trying to get to the mainland so I could take Katie to university. We duly got there, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, unloaded all her stuff out of my car, absolutely packed, got her in her flat, took her to the supermarket, and then I was heading back to Glasgow to stay overnight because I had to then try and get the little boat, the extra journey boat, the next day. But I had managed to book another ticket last minute, so that was all fine. But when I set away from Edinburgh to come back to Glasgow, got onto the main motorway, the main highway, and it was shut. They were fixing stuff, so I had to go miles and miles and miles around via Stirling and Falkirk and various other cities. And then when I got to the bit which would finally take me back to the motorway that connects with Glasgow, that was shut as well. So I had to go a whole other way and go around the south end of the city, honestly. So by the time I got to my room about 1:45 in the morning, I had had a day of travelling. So I decided that the next day I had to cheer myself up well and good. And the way I rewarded myself was by taking myself to a new yarn shop. And this yarn shop was called the Orry Mill. That's O-R-R-Y. Orry Mill. In a little village just outside Glasgow called Eaglesham. and I'd never been. I knew the shop was there, but I'd never been to it. It's been on my hit list for quite a number of years actually. So, but I finally got there, and I decided I'm going to go check this out. And if there's anything nice to buy, I will duly reward myself. Well, it's a lovely shop. A lot of yarn stores in Scotland, in this part of Scotland, run-of-the-mill yarn stores, you can get a lot of acrylic stuff, which is okay, but it's for yarn snobs, it's not exactly what you're looking for, is it? You want some of the nice stuff. So this shop was an absolute gold mine of just so many beautiful, proper, woolly yarns and everything else. So I had a little bit of a shopping spree. Would you like to see what I got? Would you like to see? The first thing I got, now I could have got this other places, but the first thing I got was, seeing as I'm starting to run through my sock yarn pile, I had to, of course, buy some more signature 4-ply West Yorkshire spinners, didn't I? And this is these two are self-patterning, 2 different colourways. The first one there is called Pheasant. Look at those pretty colours, very autumnal colours, aren't they? And there was a little sample of this knit up in the shop, and it was a very pleasing pattern. It's a stripy effort. I was very, very pleased with the finished the finished effect of the stripy yarn. So that's in the Pheasant colourway. That will be socks. And then this one here is in the Bullfinch colourway, which has more greys and a little bit more red. Again, it will probably be socks. There we are, West Yorkshire Spinners, signature 4-ply. Great for socks, 75% wool, 25% nylon, as you might expect. So, yeah, I got two balls of that for the socks. And of all the stuff that I could have bought, I just had to pick something, because I'd gone to all that trouble of getting to the shop and all that sort of stuff. And I came across this lovely, yes, there we go, my favourite word, lovely, Rowan Moordale yarn. Now this is made with British wool and British alpaca, so it's a little bit of a mixture. They call it, I think it's the Moordale range, and I got 3 skeins of this beautiful yarn in these colours. There's a grey one, there's a lovely, I wish I had more words than lovely. Can you suggest me some more words than lovely, please? I need some help. Some very nice burgundy yarn, and then this deep blue navy kind of yarn. And I bought these not because I have a specific project in mind for these, but because I have lots of lovely yarn in this sort of weight and style that I intend to use for all these colourwork projects that I intend to do when I eventually get some time. You know, all those things that I'm going to knit when I've got all this time. Anyway, I bought some because it's just exquisite. So I'm going to put the link for the Orry Mill in Eaglesham down there, so you can go on their website, check them up on social media, just find out what they do, and just, you know, join in and celebrating them. The owner there occasionally puts a few things on YouTube, so I'll try and add the YouTube channel as well, and just give them a little look at. And if you're in the UK and you can easily buy things from them, have a wee look. They have got some nice things. They also do quite a lot of patterns, and mainly quite a lot of petite knit patterns. Now, I'd never actually seen a petite knit pattern, as in one that I hadn't downloaded. So I was very pleased to go and find a whole box full of petite knit patterns in their actual physicality, which was a very pleasing experience. I'm a bit of a paper addict. I like paper, I like pen and paper, I like physical things, but of course downloads are helpful. But I got 2 patterns as well. First one was the Stockholm hat, which is a different kind of beanie. I like the way that the little top bit goes there. And I also got the Oslo hat, which you can't really see in a lot of detail because it's black on the paper there, and there's not a lot of definition you can see, and the light is terrible and all that sort of thing. So 2 new hat patterns, just to try out a little bit of variety. So those were my purchases from the Orry Mill, and very pleased was I. And by the time, friends, that I had bought all that lovely yarn and chatted to the owner, who incidentally is Danish, I think, which is why the affinity for petite knit in particular. By the time I'd bought all that, I had forgotten all about the woes of my travels, and I was a very happy man. Now, the other purchase that I managed to make was a little bit earlier than that, because you may know that as well as having a 25th wedding anniversary, I also had a 45th birthday. Oh my goodness, 45. It's old for me, okay? I don't have time for another midlife crisis. I have already squeezed 2 into life already. I'm not going to have any more. So in order to avoid said midlife crisis at turning 45, I thought, I know what I'll do. I will take the money which was given me by my dear mother-in-law for my birthday, and I shall take myself to one of the stores here on the island, because I had noticed that one of my knit group friends, Sarah, has been spinning, and she's teamed up with the local knitwear shop and the local alpaca farm to spin some lovely 100% alpaca wool. Now, excuse the rustling because it's still in the paper bag. But wait to see this. Absolutely lovely. Please, come on, Andrew. There are other words other than lovely. This very nice and soft and plush, gorgeous alpaca yarn in these 2 colours. It's homespun by Sarah, and I could not resist. Just the right amount of money I had from my mother-in-law to buy these, and it's just great to know that the provenance of these products is made on the island by someone who has spun them together, bought in a local independent store, made with fleece from alpacas who live, less than 10 miles away from my home. So that kind of thing makes me smile. I love knowing that kind of thing. I have no idea what I'm going to do with them, whether it will be a cowl for the neck or something for the ear. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It might just be, who knows, but it may actually just be something that I have bought and keep, just for the beauty of them as they are. I don't know. But that's what I bought with my extra birthday money. So happy birthday to me. So that's the extent, I think, of all my purchases and all my knitting. And it's been quite pleasurable. At the end of the day, we knit for lots of reasons. And some of you might knit as part of your side hustle, or your gift giving, or whatever it is. But I know that for most of us, there's a lot of pleasure that can be got, a lot of peace and calm that can be got from our knitting, and that's why a lot of us do it. So in the busyness of all the life, it's good to treat yourself now and again. Now, the other things that have been happening that are really good recently, I recently had a contact from someone who watches the podcast here, and had come to Arran for a trip, I think with her significant other, and contacted me via Instagram and said, I've made some hats for you, Andrew. Can I drop them off to you somewhere? Well, it just so happened that I was very busy. I was leading a retreat on that weekend, but I was willing to give my address, and Dion came round with a lovely bag of hats for the next big beanie along. Now, as you may know, we haven't had a beanie along this year because I thought we'd leave it a year and then we'll apply ourselves next summer. I usually like to knit beanies in the summer because that means they're a good chance of being ready for the winter, and because it's for charity, it means that they're ready to hand out when people need those beanies come the winter time, because it can get chilly here in Scotland, although not as chilly as some of the places where you come from. But it does get a little bit chilly, and you do want to have something around your head, especially if you've got a haircut like mine. So I normally knit them in the summer, I gather them together and send them off along with all you lovely people, but I didn't do any of that this year, partly because of the whole moving house thing. So that was my reason, but I've already got a good start on the beanies for next year, because there were some of you who sent in beanies. I'm very grateful for that. You sent them in, but it was a little bit too late for the time that I took them up to Glasgow for the charity. So I've been hoarding them. I've got a little hoard of beanies, or toques, or whatever you call them. And I say I've got another bag there. And some people locally here in Arran have been asking me if I'm doing the beanie thing. And so I think we're drumming up the knitters on the charity beanie front. So that will be back next year, I am sure, in some form or other. So keep an eye on that. But thank you so much. Thank you so much to all of you who have participated in the Beanie Along in particular. It's really great to partner with you in these little projects where we can feel that our knitting is doing some good in the world. And doesn't our world need some good? Doesn't our world need some good? There's still shocking things happening abroad and in our world in general. As if our own lives aren't enough to be getting on with, we then have to go through the struggle of seeing challenging things, and it just is so good to be able to think that we can do something. Doesn't it just help you to know that you can do something? So, the Beanie Along will be back. So what else have I got to tell you? There's not a huge much else that I need to tell you now, other than the fact that during the time I've been sitting here, the sun has gone down over the houses over there, and I've probably got darker and darker and darker. I will try to adjust the colours on the recording, but apologise for that. We're not that professional here. We're just doing our bit for our little corner on the internet. So thank you very much for joining me for this extra stitch. It's been lovely to chat to you. Lovely to catch up with you again. Again, always please feel free to comment, like and subscribe, all that sort of stuff, especially comment, because I love to read your comments down there on the bottom. And I can't reply to all the comments that we get, but I do like to reply to folks from time to time as much as I possibly can, and interact with you down the bottom there. And so if you want to do that, that'd be great. I say, of course, when you're a YouTuber, YouTube is very clever. It tells you all sorts of things about your channel. And it still tells me that there's quite a lot of you who regularly watch me who haven't yet clicked the subscribe button. It's absolutely free. And look at all the fun we can have. So click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications, the little bell button. That'll tell you when I post. I don't have a regular posting schedule. I do as much as I can. But if you turn on that little bell, that'll tell you when I've posted the next and latest instalment on the old Albanach Knitter YouTube channel here. And so if you do all that, you'll make a happy man very old. And yeah, do that. Go on. You want to. And I will be back very shortly. I still have it in mind to do an episode early on in October for you. And seeing as I am going away on holiday down to Galloway in the south of Scotland, there may well be opportunity for you to come to Galloway. Now, isn't that exciting? And I'll tell you more about Galloway when we are down there. So that's the next episode, which will be coming in a few weeks' time, somewhere around about the middle of October, all being well. And what I'm also hoping to do is, even if it doesn't make it into the episode next time, is I still want to take you to Brodick Castle, which is just over the bay from where I live. And I'll tell you all about Brodick Castle and try and show you around there as well. I want to say thank you also to all those of you who support the channel with a little donation for coffee via Ko-fi or whatever it's called. It's really appreciated. It supports not only the knitting and the content for the channel, but it helps me keep everything up to date and supports life in general. So thank you very much for your kind generosity. A huge thank you to all those who show the love in that way. as well as watching. Now, before it gets entirely dark and I disappear into the abyss, all I have to say now is Martian Lave and Drasta. Agus Bianach Diagut. Bye for now, and God bless.